Hi everyone. I'm so sorry to be out sick, but hopefully we can go over enough material in this lesson that it'll feel like I was here. I don't want us to feel like we're falling behind, but I can't control certain things like when I have a fever and a cough. So please take out this worksheet that we did on Friday in class. I believe I assigned it to homework for all of you. Okay, so we're going to go over some select problems from this worksheet. Hopefully, if I go over enough different kinds of problems, it'll give you a good overview, so you'll feel okay to move on, because we will be talking about dividing the rational functions today as well. We're going to go over problems 1, 2, 4, 8, and 9. If you have problems with some of the other problems on this paper, just hold on to your questions. I'll be back tomorrow and we can go over them then. Okay, starting with problem 1, we have a monomial times a monomial in both the numerator and the denominator. So we're going to look for some common factors either in the numbers above and below each other or the ones diagonal from each other. Common factor between 25 and 45 is, of course, 5. So we're going to go ahead and divide 25 and 45 by 5. 25 divided by 5 is 5. 45 divided by 5 is 9. So we have 5 over 9 for our simplified version of that fraction. 96 and 38 share a common factor of 2. "96 divided by 2 is 48, and 38 divided by 2 is 19. So we have 48 over 19n. We're not done simplifying yet. If you look, we can actually do a diagonal simplification as well, because 48 and 9 share the common factor of 3. "48 divided by 3 is 16, and 9 divided by 3 is 3. So we're going to have 16 over 9n times 5 over 3. Now that we have these fully simplified, we can go ahead and multiply them. So multiplying the numerators straight across, we get 16 times 5, which is 80, and 19n times 3, which is 57n.
What you doing?
Recording a video for my class. Say hi.
Hi. All right, well, I'll let you get back to your monomials. Although I prefer 3 meals.
All right, go away.
Bye.
Moving on to problem 2, you can see that it is already factored, which makes this really, really easy to simplify before we multiply. We're going to look for any common factors from the numerators and denominators. It doesn't matter if they're above or below each other or diagonal from each other. So we have n plus 4 as common factors, n minus 3 as common factors, and if we look, that's all of the common factors. Remember, binomials have to stay together. We can't separate them. So we're going to have 7n squared, which is all that's left in the numerator, over n plus 8 times n plus 6, which is all that's left in the denominator. Problem 4 is very similar to problem 2 in that it's already factored. We're going to look for our common factors in the numerator and denominators. So we have the m plus 1, which is that common factor binomial, and then the 8, which is a common factor as well. So we're going to be left with 9 over 7m. Super simple. I'm going to go ahead and show you these problems one more time, just to make sure that you have everything copied down in your notes. Okay, hopefully you have those copied down on your worksheet, so now we can move on to problem number 8. So for problem number 8, we're going to have to do some factoring before we can simplify. So we're going to look at the numerator 5r plus 50 and find a common factor between 5r and 50 to try to get that simplified down. The common factor between 5r and 50 is 5. Both can be divided evenly by 5. So we're going to do 5r divided by 5, which is going to give us r. We put that 5, which is our common factor, on the outside of the parentheses. And then 50 divided by 5, which is 10. So now we have 5 times r plus 10 over r plus 10 times r minus 2 over 5. We're going to be able to cancel out the common factor of r plus 10 in the numerator and the denominator, and also cancel out the common factor of 5 in the numerator and the denominator. All we have left is r minus 2, which is our answer. Moving on to problem number 9, we have a lot to factor in this one, so this is going to take us a couple minutes. We have a numerator that we can take out a common factor, a denominator where we can take out a common factor, and a denominator that needs to be snowflaked. Luckily, m plus 1 is already in its simplest form, so we don't have to touch that. So, the common factor between 3m minus 15 is going to be 3. 3m and 15 can both be divided by 3. So let's put our 3 on the outside of the parentheses. And we're going to have m plus 1 over 3 times m minus 5. 15 divided by 3 is 5. Now we're going to have to factor our other rational function as well. Starting with the numerator, we're going to find a common factor between 8m and 80, which is 8. So we're going to write our 8 on the outside of the parentheses. 8m divided by 8 is m, and 80 divided by 8 is 10. Now we're going to have to snowflake m squared minus 9m minus 10. So I'll draw my snowflake shape here. Our a value is going to be 1, so we'll put that up in these spots here. Our b value is negative 9, and our a value times our c value is negative 10. Because the top value is negative, we know that we're going to have one positive and one negative factor. 1 times negative 10 gives us negative 10, and 1 minus 10 gives us negative 9. So we can write our factors as m plus 1 times m minus 10. Now we can go ahead and cancel out any of our common factors. We have m plus 1 in the numerator and the denominator. We have m minus 10 in the numerator and the denominator. So now when we go to write our answer, all we have left in the numerator is 8. And what we have left in the denominator is 3 times m minus 5. Okay, hang on to this worksheet and I will collect it when I come back. And if you have any questions on these problems that I went over or anything on the back, just let me know and I'll be happy to go over them again. Okay, so now we're going to move on to dividing rational expressions. It may look difficult, but it's actually very similar to multiplying, so don't be intimidated. Please take out a paper and a pen or pencil to write with, so you don't miss any of these notes. These are not on a worksheet, so you'll have to copy these problems down yourself. Okay, hopefully you guys are all ready to get started with these notes. So let's take a look at what it means to divide the rational expressions. Dividing rational expressions is just like dividing fractions. What we have to do is flip the second rational expression so that the numerator becomes the denominator and the denominator becomes the numerator. Then multiply, just as we've been doing. So once we flip our second rational function in this first example, we're going to go ahead and rewrite the problem. So it's our new multiplication problem. So we have xy squared over 5z times 10z squared over 3xy. See how I flipped that? Now we can go ahead and start canceling out our values that occur in both the numerator and the denominator. We have an x in the numerator and the denominator, those cancel. We have y squared in the numerator and y in the denominator. So the y squared in the numerator is going to become y to the first power, and we're going to cancel out the y in the denominator. We have z squared in the numerator and z in the denominator. So again, it's going to be z to the first power. We also have a 10 in the numerator and a 5 in the denominator, which share a common factor of 5. So we can simplify those as well. 10 divided by 5 is 2, and 5 divided by 5 is 1. So multiplying straight across, we're going to start with the 2 and have 2y z. Then in the denominator, all we have left is 1 times 3, which is 3. So that is our divided and simplified rational function. Let's try this process again with the next problem. We're going to flip 7z over 2xy. We're going to rewrite this as 5z over 4xy times 2xy over 7z. Now we can go ahead and cancel out our common factors between the numerator and the denominator again. So we have a z that we can cancel, we have x and y that we can cancel, and then 2 and 4 share the common factor of 2. So those can be canceled as well and simplified. Two divided by 2 is 1, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. So we're going to multiply straight across and have 5 times 1 is 5 over 2 times 7, which is 14. And that is our simplified rational function that becomes just a fraction. This last problem I'm going to have you try yourselves after I help you set it up. So we're going to flip that second expression again. So we're going to have x squared minus 3x minus 18 over x squared plus 5. X squared plus 5x times x squared plus 3x minus 15 over x minus 6. And what I want you to do is take the next 3 minutes and divide these, or multiply them now, by snowflaking the numerators and finding a common factor in the one denominator. Luckily, x minus 6 is already simplified, so you only have to simplify 3 out of the 4 terms here. Okay, let's see how we did. Let's start by snowflaking the first numerator. I'm going to draw my snowflake. My A value is 1. My B value is -3. And my A value times my C value is -18. Again, our top number is negative, so we're going to have a positive and a negative factor. We're going to have +3 times -6, giving us -18, and +3 minus 6, giving us -3. So those check out. So we have x plus 3 times x minus 6 for our first numerator. Now, x squared and 5x share a common factor of x, so we can put that on the outside of our parentheses when we're factoring this. X squared divided by x is x, and 5x divided by x is 5. So we have x times x plus 5. Now we're going to go ahead and snowflake the other numerator. Our A value is 1. Our B value is +3. And our C value times our A value is -15. Again, our top number is negative, so we're going to have a positive and a negative factor. Now I'm looking at this, and I'm trying to find two numbers that will multiply to -15 and add to 3. And I'm seeing a problem here. Did anybody else catch this problem? Anybody actually able to factor this? I'm hoping none of you said yes, because I just caught a big mistake I made while writing this problem. And I apologize. Instead of a positive 3x, that really should be a 2. Otherwise, we'd have to go in and use our quadratic formula. We're going to end up with decimals. So let's just go back in time and pretend like that has been a 2 all along. Now, when we go ahead to do our snowflake, we should have a much easier time factoring this. And again, sorry about the mistake, guys. So again, our A value is 1. Now our B value is 2. And our A value times our C value remains -15. We're going to have the positive and the negative factor. My positive factor is going to be 5. And my negative factor is going to be 3. Five times -3 is -15, and 5 minus 3 is 2. There, that works a lot better, and I'm sorry if you guys got stuck on that because of my mistake earlier. So we have x plus 5 times x minus 3. And that's going to be over x minus 6, because that's already factored and we don't have to worry about it. Now we're going to cancel out our common factors between the numerators and the denominators. So we have x plus 6 that we can cancel, and x plus 5 that can be canceled. In the numerator, let me see if I can get some more space on this page to write my answer. In the numerator, we're going to have x plus 3 times x minus 3. And in our denominator, we're just going to be left with x. And that is our answer for dividing these rational functions. Hopefully you took that time that I had all this work up on the board to copy down any of the notes that you just missed. Now I would like the substitute to pause the video and hand out this dividing rational functions worksheet. Alright, once you all have a worksheet, please do the whole sheet. It's not that many problems. I know you guys can do it. If you don't finish it in class, finish it for homework. Now, take a look at the different symbols on the worksheet. You should notice that on the left-hand side, we have multiplication symbols. And on the right-hand side, we have division symbols. So you're going to be doing a combination of the past two lessons that we've had. For the odd problems on the front of the worksheet, you're going to be practicing your multiplication skills. For the even problems on the worksheet, you're going to be practicing your division skills. On the back of the worksheet, you'll see that there's a similar mix of the different types of problems. The odd numbers, again, are multiplication, and the even number problem is division. Try not to get mixed up with what you're doing for the different types of problems. All right, I will see you all tomorrow. Thanks for watching the video.